Hey YouTube, it's Mike here. Gonna do an update on my aquaponics. I've had some positives and some negatives. As per, I guess I'm trying to grow anything anywhere. Um, and I'm kind of concerned for the future of things. Just because I gotta figure out what to do about my little issues here. But I'm gonna kind of just start at the one end here and go. Um, Here I got some romaine lettuce I've started. I'm going to put in the one planter. Um, I've got these strawberries now. I think whatever has happened, well, there might be a little bit of life. I'm going to have to take a pretty close look, but they went from starting to kind of develop along to just about being completely dead with zero look of any ambitions to keep going. Back in here on the positive news, we have raspberries that are getting new growth. So the ugly looking old growth is going to be done, and hopefully this keeps going. Now I'm still looking to see a little bit more root, but I mean the fish in there look healthy. The water isn't getting too bad, and so the raspberries, these ones in particular, compared to all the dead stuff I pulled out, I thought maybe it was a lost cause to try to keep this going, but it seems to be doing way better than I had kind of anticipated. From a distance, the celeries seem to be doing just fine. Especially these are all my young ones that had their root stock. I pulled them and the roots out from the garden and put them in here. The back in here, the strawberries are, I mean, just looking like they're going to produce something quite nice here. I thought I had maybe butchered them a little bit too much, but now these aren't even really in the aquaponics setup. And so I've been hand watering them with the fish water. Which is something that, I mean, I guess you could almost recommend to anybody that has a fish tank and something to water is, I think the little bit of nutrients in the fish water probably does a lot. I don't know if you're picking up though, here and there you will see buzzing around some fruit fly looking things. And I'm not sure whether they were in the house and came to the strawberries or what. But it is pretty irritating. And now I was just noticing while I was taping here, I'm going to have to take a closer look to see if this will focus what those little dots are there. Because I have put diatomaceous earth on here. I couldn't think of what else to do to try to back off some of the insect population. And part of the reason is very clear. If you look on here, see if I can get a really good shot of this, because I may actually ask for some help if you know what you're looking at. Those are some kind of, I think I want to call them mites, and I'm not exactly sure. I brought a spider over. He's not quite doing what I was hoping. This has all got diatomaceous. I don't think the diatomaceous would cause anything major with the fish, is why I'm using it compared to a lot of the other options. But if you look at this celery, I mean, this stuff down here looks pretty pale. It's gone from this dark green. Now this could be light that's causing the lack of green, because really we're just sitting under the artificial LED lights and we haven't had much sun, even though this is in a location where any sun that we get, if there's any intensity to it, every window should be able to hit this. And so this has been kind of a letdown on this celery. This other celery over here, the color seems quite good still. And in fact, even with all these mites, we're getting new shoot growth. I mean, this shoot kind of came up and then stunted out down here. But then if you look down in the crotch there, You can see in the center of the frame there is a new shoot coming. So then to the other raspberries, they are like the other ones, all starting to take off and grow new leaves, which is cool. And all these little dudes in here seem to be growing well and quite happy. And then we come to the butter crunch lettuce that I started, that I want to put in my planter piece. And then we come to the sad, sad death of some tomato plants. This is the big one, and this thing hasn't gone all at once. But if you follow him up, there's no sign of life now at all in him. This one may have one small growing point right here, but the rest looks pretty depleted. And I guess because I had some other tomatoes down in here going, and this guy here too, he was the first casualty. I forgot to point that one out. Now, what my question would be, if we stand back and kind of take an overview of everything, I mean, I understand lighting can and will be an issue, but I don't think it would have been what would cause a catastrophic failure of one plant variety. I could believe seeing some general depletions or lack of, or a deficiency, that's what I'm looking for, that word. I could understand seeing some deficiencies, but these mites, or whatever these little critters are, that are just about billions of them. I mean, every leaf seems to have about 100, especially on that one big celery plant there. And so the diatomaceous just doesn't seem to have backed them off. And I'm trying to decide whether the mites would have possibly had something to do with the tomato issues. Luckily it's early enough. I'm going to probably get some seeds going. I would have liked to have had my slips, but I do have some more seeds. I just don't like starting seeds because it always takes so long. But if I start them now and I have the setup, maybe they'll be fine. That was the other thing I was going to mention with this particular celery plant. This tank had been completely emptied and restarted 100%, and it got half of the fish. This tank has had a bunch, because I actually brought the fish in it, of the original pre-fish polluted water, and I'm wondering if that may have also something to do with the fact that this stuff does, this is more like a lack of nitrogen causing pale. But I mean, the mites on this thing, and I'm trying to figure out, and maybe someone like JT Bear or whatever that brings stuff in from outside may have a bit more of an insight, because this is my first year really doing this. And like, I dug these strawberries out of my garden and brought them in. The raspberries were cut and brought in. This celery was all cut, or all dug up and brought in. Strawberries that were brought in there. This was one that I started in my shop around a bunch of stuff that was from the garden, but it was outside. And the lovely dead tomatoes, they were also outside for quite some time. I mean, these were cuttings that I put in the water to grow. I know there's always risks when you bring plants in from outside, and I'm trying to decide whether that's what's happened here, or what. But if somebody knows, the best way, because I think when you look at these particular, where are we here in the, I don't know if it'll focus in or not very well. I would love to get a really, really good shot of that. That's one of these mites. They will fall off. They do move very, very slowly. Where do I see more? Right on the stem there. So yeah, it's a bit depressing. Anyway, I'm going to get this up on YouTube. I got a couple other videos I've been going to got to edit up and post on other things. But as far as the aquaponics go, yeah, I just if anybody's got any hints or tips on what the heck's going on there with the mites, or what probably killed off, if you kind of narrowed it down before what's killed things indoors. Um, I mean, I am gonna try to find the seeds for the tomatoes. I have a few left and get them started and going, and then from there we'll see what happens. Um, but before I even bother planting those seeds, and even with these lettuce seeds now, I'm a bit nervous about what's going to happen in the future, um, as far as mites and whatnot. So I got to figure out how to deal with them and come up with a good game plan. I was half tempted. One of the thoughts I had was to take all of my plants, grab a 5-gallon pail that I have a lid for or something, and flood these things and give them a good hour or two soaking underwater, possibly with, I don't want to say a bit of salt, which the plants might not appreciate at first, but I wonder if I rinsed them off. The salt would probably kill off the mites pretty fast. There is salt in the fish water for that matter. I mean, as I use these aquarium salt in there, not in huge doses, about a spoon per 5 gallons or less, because I have the plants. But I mean, even the root systems on these tomatoes still look good and viable if the glare doesn't get it, but otherwise I'm not sure what to do. So any advice would be much appreciated, or ideas or thoughts or anything. And if there's any questions or more information that you'd like to see or know about what I'm doing here and how I'm going to figure out what to do next, leave a comment and we'll get back to you. Thanks. Bye.